Hey, I'm worshiping here.
This is gonna be the best day ever. This is gonna be the best day ever. Wake up.
Hey guys, good morning. Welcome back to Word Radio. This is your early morning cup of Cardin, your cup of Joseph Smith, your Ellis energy drink. I've got a really cool story here for you that I'm actually bringing to you with a friend of mine who has a little bit to do with this story, but a Mormon congregation in New York, the Mormon congregation, the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in New York have actually signed a really fun and interesting lease at a 132-year-old Upper West Side Church. Apparently, they're renovating the New York Temple and they're a little bit displaced. So they have teamed up with the West End Collegiate Church on the Upper West Side, and they're going to be, brushing shoulders. They're going to be hanging out. They're going to be, just renting the place while the new building is getting renovated. And, I invited Brad Whitbeck, our mutual friend here, our buddy, large and in charge, Brad Whitbeck, here to talk about it. Because besides me living in New York for a brief period of time, Brad, what'd you do there?
I served my mission there.
Oh, I was going to
hope. And it was awesome.
I was going to hope you said served there, and I was going to be able to make a joke about jail time, and it was going to be super boomer and funny. But anyway, yeah. Okay. So you served in New York, man. So, have you read the article that we're talking about today?
Yeah, man. It's really, really cool. I was looking through it, and it's really an awesome thing that's happening here. So just brief rundown for context for people. You've got the pictures, right, of the Manhattan, New York temple?
Yes, I do. So I can pull those up.
This is really, really cool what's happening here. Now, the Manhattan temple in New York is really cool looking. If you pull up that picture, what's fascinating about this is this building has a couple of different floors to it. And inside of this building, you have their actual chapel, right?
Yes.
And you have everyone goes there to meet for their congregation for that Sunday, right?
Yes.
But they also have the temple inside of that building. Now, the thing is, it's closing in 2024 for some pretty extensive renovations that's going to have it closed for, I think, 3 years. And so they needed to find somewhere else to meet. So they found this really cool old church that they're going to start sending everybody to.
Yeah, and look at the pictures of this thing. If you go to the original West End rag right here, this is a gorgeous and beautiful chapel. I was reading in the original article that this is the longest serving continuous congregation in the United States of America, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to botch that statistic, but these guys have been around for over 132 years. I'm in a ward that's been around for like 8 or 9, and then some people move into California and then it splits again. And then some people move out. I don't think there's a congregation within a 50-mile radius of me that has actually existed in its original form for maybe more than a couple of decades, because of just the fluctuations of people. But, New York, it's almost an eternal city. So I can see why in the Upper West Side, you could literally have had a church for 132 years,
Yeah, dude. I mean, for context, some of our areas in New York would be like blocks of 10 streets, Like they were some of the smallest geographic boundaries for missions in the world. Especially up in the West End there. I think that was where the tightest one was, up in like the Inwood area. It was so tiny because there was just such a density of population there that, you got a ton of people there. And where are they going to go for their church? To that same congregation, right? So it's really cool. Something I love about this story is that they're going to be sharing the building, right?
Yeah.
There's the Upper West End church, the West End church, who's the current occupant, and then the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and then another undisclosed religious organization, apparently.
Dude,
that'll be using it in a less frequent basis.
Temple. It's the Freemasons. It's the Illuminati meeting in the basement. No. So I'm just going to read this article here really fast. It's really cool. It says a congregation of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is headed for a new home in the Upper West Side. Known formerly as the Mormon Church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints signed a 3-year lease. Oh, sorry, informally. You're right. Signed a 3-year lease this week for 40,000 square feet of shared and dedicated space at the West End Collegiate Church on 77th Street between Broadway and West End Avenue. The Mormon congregation will share the 132-year-old landmarked building with its current occupant, West End Church, along with another undisclosed religious organization that will potentially use the building on a less frequent basis. I think it's Jews for Jesus. But I'm just kidding. I love that.
Who knows? I mean, that would help spread things out for the beliefs of who's in that building.
They're
right?
diversifying their rental portfolio, right?
Yeah.
I also just think that is the best alliteration in all of religion worldwide. But anyway, the occupancy of this historic collegiate church property by multiple faith communities heralds a new chapter in the spiritual life of the congregations. And, it's pretty awesome that we're having this super cool interfaith experience because A, that's awesome. And we celebrate all of our brothers and sisters in other, supportive and awesome and uplifting faiths worldwide, but we're also excited to see what they do with the temple. I'm going to pull up a couple of pictures here that you were able to put in the Discord, Brad. The first one is actually what we'll call the old temple. It's the way that it is right now, why it's getting shut down. And both you and I have been in there. You served as a missionary in New York. Were you ever able to go to the temple and actual temple services, or were you only in that building? Okay, so you're able to go to the temple. So if I remember correctly, it's like the 7th and an 8th and floor is the temple. Then there's the baptismal font in the basement. And then when you walk into the base level, it's like the PR buildings for the church. And then I think it's levels 3 and 4 are the chapel. And this is a great design. It's actually totally awesome.
It also has a distribution center in there.
Yeah, it has a distribution center in there.
Yeah, it's like everything that you could need in a church building is in there, right?
And it even has all of those apartments in back the church actually owns as well, and it collects rent from all those people, which is really funny. But the only criticism I do have of this building is we're going to show pictures of what it's going to look like, the new renovations that displaced the members. But I don't know if this ever happened to you, but you could be going through a service in the temple floors, like the 7th and 8th floor or whatever. Yeah. And I remember being a solid floor above the gymnasium and thinking, I'm pretty sure I hear basketballs and whistles.
Here's one thing I will say, though.
Soundproof it better a little next time.
So here's the thing, though. This one is the really awesome building where they've built the inside of the building a tiny bit off kilter from the rest of the building so that you have some space between the interior of the building and the exterior. So even though you might hear a little bit of echo from the church gym below, what you're not hearing is all of the New York traffic outside.
That's true.
And that is wild to me that they figured out a way to do that, right? Because that's so cool.
Because this is right across. What people don't realize, I'm going to put this picture back up. You can see the street signs right here, but you're right on Broadway. This is off the Lincoln Center subway exit on, it's not called the Red Line. It was
it's 125th in Columbus.
Oh, it's 125th of Columbus. Okay, cool. Either way, it's you're right. No, it's not Lincoln Center. I apologize. But it's off of the main thoroughfare, the main drag, if you want to call it, for lack of a better term, right? And so you can hear the squeak of every brake of every taxi that goes by, every dude that's yelling in the street. It is pretty wild. So anyway, let's show, I got the other picture up. This is supposedly the mock-up of what the temple is going to look like. What did you think of that, Brad?
Dude, I think it looks sweet.
You do?
Yeah, I actually really like this design. I think
to me it looks
really,
a little Middle
really
Eastern. Like you can always tell in Los Angeles when one of your Persian buddies' parents buys the house, or your Armenian buddies' parents buy the house, because they love their marble. Maybe throw a couple of lion statues in there. They paint a lot of things gold. You know what I'm saying? That steeple painted gold, that doesn't look like your buddy's dad just decided to go Taj Mahal on the freaking Mormon temple.
I love it. I think it's really, really cool, and it's going to fit in. I think it'll stand out in a really cool way in New York, right? Because you got to remember, this is just down the street from Juilliard, right? This is right near some really amazing stuff in New York. So I think something that stands out a little bit more like this, that's not a bad thing at all. I actually like the way that it helps focus on that little Moroni up there.
Okay.
Because right now it's a little bit harder to see the Moroni that we've got on the Manhattan, New York temple.
Well, the other thing is it just me, or does the mock-up of the new thing, maybe it's just the angle that they took the picture of. Is it just me, or does the mock-up look a little bit shorter than what we have right now? Are they tearing down?
see.
They're not tearing down the old building. Are they just going down to the bones?
I think the angle is what's going on there. It looks about the same.
But it's not a
height to
complete
me, I'd
tear
say.
down they're doing or anything like that, right?
No, I don't think it should be. I think that they're just renovating everything. Like
Okay.
they're doing some pretty extensive renovations, but it should be about the same building.
Okay, sick. Awesome.
I really like the window styling on this, though. I think that looks super cool.
Yeah, it's like stained glass and watercolor mixed together.
Yeah, it's a really, really fascinating look. I'm a big fan of it. I can't wait to go. Super glad that I got to go out there and show Riley what that place looked like before they did all the started these renovations. I'm not sure exactly when they're starting, but this year. So it's dude, it's a beautiful place.
Okay, my last comment before we go here is
Yeah.
I totally appreciate that they did the artist rendition and they did the whole mock-up, but if it's an artist rendition and not a real picture, do they have to put the big ugly service van in front of the temple? Like,
Look,
you see how they just
that's a necessary part of putting it in its environment, right? This is going to be in New York.
There's
every picture you take, there's going to be a service van.
There's just two ugly, like, delivery vehicles that they literally parked right in front of the church. And I don't know if they were just trying to give the 12 apostles that were going to approve this in their meeting, like the authentic New York experience. But I saw that and I was like, I don't know about that. So here's a question. What are we going to name this cup of carton? What are we going to name this? Jonah Barnes, who is the one that alerted me to this really interesting article from the West Side Rag. P.S. If you're going to start a newspaper, unlike the Salt Lake Tribune, which fakes it's not a rag, I thoroughly appreciate that these guys just went 1920s muckraker and said, it's an old rag. This is the West Side Rag, right? I totally appreciate that. Second off, we got to figure out the thumbnail for this. So should the title be, would you let Mormons take over your church? I think that's a good one. That one's clickbaity. Sharing pews with a Mormon. LDS Church infiltrating Christian churches. That would get some hate watcher clicks.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mike Winger would be up in arms over that, right?
Yeah, exactly. New York Christians outclass Jeff Durbin. LDS Church joins with local Christians. We've still got friends in high places. That's a good one.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah, some Christians still Christian. LDS Church takes New York. Ooh. Or here's my favorite. AA, I'm worshiping ear. Which I think he means, hey, I'm worshiping it. That is really funny. LDS Church too big for New York, or America's First Church with America's First Religion. So I don't know. I think this is cool, dude. I think it's cool. Do you have any plans to return to your old stomping grounds and see it once it's completed or anything like that?
Oh, I'll definitely be going back to check that place out. I mean, we should just go film some content on the street there. That'd be awesome.
And I want to check out the inside of this chapel, dude.
Dude, it's going to be really cool. I like the chapel as is, but I'll be interested to see what they do to update everything in there.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful building.
Well, also not just the Mormon chapel, the one they're renting, the West End chapel. I'm putting up a picture of where the Mormons.
The interior.
Yeah, the interior of the West End chapel. It looks gorgeous.
That interior looks sweet. Yeah. I love how open it is. It looks really, really pretty in there too.
Yeah, you know a segment I just realized we have to start with you, bro.
What?
Crazy mission stories from New York City.
Dude, that would be a blast. That would be so fun.
That would be absolutely nuts if we could just get all of the missionaries that have ever served in New York City to just start a treasure trove of all of the stories that they have from having served there. That would be some killer content, man. So anyway,
that would be awesome.
Yeah, that's all we got for you guys today.
One thing I got to throw out there.
Okay.
So we talked about the Upper West Side building that they're getting.
Yeah.
Now, guess what rooms they're going to be renting out there?
Oh,
like if you were to guess, what rooms does a LDS congregation need to operate? What would you say?
the kitchen for refreshments.
Got it.
The laundry room for the messes we make when we're doing young men and young women's. I don't know. What? Tell me which ones?
It's got the chapel, the kitchen, the gym.
Yeah.
The multi-purpose room, right? You gotta have that church gym, right? They need a place to play their church ball. And then it says, and the sanctuary. I wonder what that looks like. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, and it was weird. I didn't know. Why did they rent out the wine cellar? Is there some other kind of change in the word of wisdom we're unaware of that they've got, wind of in New York before we did? No, I'm just kidding. I didn't see that in the wine cellar. That was a joke, people. You can, you don't have to boot up your laptops to go crazy quite yet. So anyway, yeah, awesome. Well, Brad, I'm excited to see this. I'm excited to record with you. There's just excitement in the air. We've had a lot of great news lately. Yesterday we found out that the Young Men's Presidency is starting their social media campaign. Maybe they should do a cool little segment here with the New York Mormons. Shout out to all the members of the church that serve in the tri-state area. This is your guys' temple. I'm pretty sure it's going to be freaking awesome once it's all done. And hey, if I knew that I had an excuse to go to this really cool chapel just to visit a friend, I might just be absent in my home congregation and show up in the tri-state area in New York proper to go to church there if I could as well. Brad, before we go, there's also one other thing that I wanted to bring up. Oh, got it right here. Brad wrote a book. Wrote a book, Dragon Thief. It's good stuff, and it's getting all kinds of good reviews, and he's a horrible self-promoter, so I have to do it for him. But you guys got to go buy his book. The name of the book is Dragon Thief. It's freaking awesome. If you're into it's under the pen names of Blake and Raven Penn. I co-wrote this with my wife. So if you are looking for Brad Whitbeck, you won't find it. But if you do look for Blake and Raven Penn, you'll find Dragon Thief by Blake and Raven Penn. Okay, cool. Is it doing well, bro?
Dude, it's going so much better than we had even hoped for. It's been really, really awesome. We're loving the reviews we're getting. People are loving it. It's just a super fun book for people who might want to know what it's like. It's like if you had a Venn diagram of Mistborn, Aragon, and Avatar: The Last Airbender. Our book kind of lands in the middle of that.
I feel like I just lost 50% of my dates in college by trying to understand that, but that's totally fine. And I support your venture.
It got me married to a super hot girl.
That's true.
So,
that's true. You lucked out with Riley. So anyway, guys, this has been real and it's been fun and it's been real fun. Shout out to all of the members of the church out there in New York. We hope this situation ends up being awesome. And shout out to all of the faiths that were willing to cooperate with you in finding a new home. We always love these kind of success stories where people of different denominations can come together and do a good thing. For this and more, please check us out on wardradio.com.
This is gonna be the best day ever. This is gonna be the best day ever. Wake up, top of the morning. The bacon is crispy, the coffee is pouring. My meditation is peeling an orange. The bank says I'm already scoring. I got a parking spot right outside. Step into my brand new ride. All we ever get is green lights and blue skies. This is gonna be the best day